watch. Folks can watch later on. August the 12th is the day of today. And as usual, we start with a prayer. And I like to go with this meditation from Suzanne Wilson. You guys let me know if you can hear or not, okay? So let's take a deep breath, close our eyes, and just go with the flow with this wonderful meditation from Suzanne. Can you hear that? Yeah.
Sit upright in a chair, both feet on the floor. Yoga students may prefer the half lotus position, or you may need to lie down with a pillow under your knees to support your back. Let your hands rest in your lap, palms facing up. Close your eyes and mouth and breathe gently through your nose. With each inhale, visualize white light entering your body. And as you exhale, let all your breath out slowly, breathing in white light and breathing out all stress, anxiety, letting it go. Simply be in the now, the present, this very moment. Divine Source, thank you for blessing me with this day, with my life and all my many blessings. Thank you for giving me another day to be of service in this life and in this body. I ask that you cleanse me in divine white light, erasing all energy that does not belong in my auric field. Surround me in a beautiful, translucent, golden bubble of protection that is bathed in your divine white light, sealing in all my positive energies and good health, sealing out all negative energies, all ill health, all entities from lower realms, and I send white light to the lower realms, so that only peace, love, and protection may enter in. I give gratitude for my spiritual team, spirit guides, angels, and my loved ones in the light. I send this light out to each of my loved ones on both the physical plane and the spiritual plane. I send this light out to all those in need of a physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. I connect with universal consciousness. I connect with all beings who are in meditation at this moment. I am eternal. I am one with Divine Source. I am one with all. Compassion guides all my thoughts, words, actions, and I trust that I will complete my greater work before I transition to heavenly home. With gratitude, and joy. I am a child of God. And so it is.
It's very nice. I love it. Oh, you know what? Am I recording?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was so deep in the meditation, I forgot. Anyway, so today is the day that we are going to talk about the book, The Messengers. That's the second book from this series from André Luiz, the Spiritual Realm series. And the name of the series, Live in the Spirit World. We did talk about Astral City, and the next one in sequence is really the book, The Messenger, The Messengers. And the title, the name of the title, it is because of the messengers, who the messengers are. Those are the mediums, whatever type of mediums. So this book is fully dedicated, focused on the mission of the mediums and their responsibilities, you know, what their moral values, the ethics and such. So very interesting book. It does clarify, it does shed a lot of light in several important topics in regards to mediumship. So, and this is very handy that we are talking today about this book because, as I was saying earlier, exactly this month, August 31st, it's going to be the day the second movie will be launched. The movie will be, the name of the movie is going to be Astral City 2. But Astral City 2 is really based on this book, The Messenger. It is a continuation of the Astral City, evidently, because we are talking about some of the same characters. But that movie is totally based on the second book from André Luiz. So I'm gonna share with you the official trailer so we can see. So from same producers of Astral City. Oh, the sound is very loud. Based on the book from Chico and André Luiz. This is André Luiz, okay? A movie about love and forgiveness. Because our protectors never give up on us. Astral City 2, The Messengers. August 31st in all movie theaters. So I'm dying to see that movie. I really want to see it. I have read the book. I was reading for the second time for these discussions with the group, but really, I mean, I have seen some of the trailers. Seems like it's going to be a very good one. So it's very handy that we are talking about it now, because whenever you watch the movie, then you will know perhaps some of the important facts that it contains in the book and then is not shown in the movie, because sometimes, you know, the movie, they do not have time to show everything. But anyway, Leda, do you want to comment something?
Yeah, it will be on the movies when the meeting happens here, right?
Exactly.
So maybe we can try to find a version in English
Yeah,
title or something.
yeah,
We
that'll
could
be
try
awesome.
to do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's
Then
try
we
to,
could watch together, right?
yes, yeah. Oh, it would be fantastic. Yeah. Carol, please.
So will there be subtitles or will it be in English?
I believe the first version, perhaps that will be subtitles. I do not know if they will launch the movie in English already translated. I don't know. It's possible that they would do in English because a lot of those scenery type of things, they did it in Hollywood actually with all those the special effects, etc. in those labs in Hollywood. So it's possible that will be, they will launch a version in already translated in English. That would be awesome. But
And it's
I don't
opening
know.
in the US.
I
It's
hope
opening.
so.
Okay, the 31st.
Yeah, I hope it is. I hope for sure in Brazil, but I do not know in US.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, so now the book. When exactly the book was written? It was written between the end of the 1943 and it took Chico about 2 months and a half to complete that book. It was from 1943 until 1944. Where exactly that book was written? In Pedro Leopoldo City, where we are going to visit. Yay! I'm so excited. And evidently the medium was Chico, the spirit, the real spirit author of this book is André Luiz. Like we said many times before, André Luiz is a code name for a Brazilian scientist. The main sponsor for this book, as well as the entire André Luiz series, is Emmanuel. Emmanuel is Chico's spiritual guide. And I say Emmanuel, a main sponsor, because along with Emmanuel, there were a lot of an entire team, a pretty large group of spirits that they took this role as coordinators, editors, you name it, but they did participate. It was not just everything, all the facts from André Luiz's mind. And bear in mind that some of those, actually not some, but all of those facts that or stories that they will talk about in this book, they are real stories. Okay, they're talking about real people. We will not know them. The names, evidently, they're not the same, but they are talking about, real people like, any of us. And so the other thing also to bear in mind is some of the scenes or some of the facts, sometimes they are, how can I say, they are too hard for us to understand in a way that will not really comprehend. I mean, or some of the facts will actually scare us, because of, I mean, whenever you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Because the fact is, the book is about some of the investigations and studies that in areas that André Luiz visited. And those areas, they are, yes, it is a spiritual realm, but it's very, very close to Earth. When I say close to Earth, it's close to this physical dimension. So, and as such, you will see all the bad stuff as well from the physical dimension, right? So How the book was written, like we said when we discussed Astral City, one day Emmanuel introduced André Luiz to Chico, and Emmanuel said, Chico, this is a friend, and he will stay with you for a while. And the goal is to write a book later on. Chico didn't know how many books, didn't know how long that would take. So he just thought, okay, so it's going to be a book. And why Emmanuel did that, did that introduction and said, okay, you guys will stick together for a while. Because remember, they have to be in this they have to get familiar. They have to get familiar with each other. They have to know each other before doing anything. It's like that concept of forming, norming, forming, storming, norming, and performing, right? So that's the 4 stages of this psychological development of that a team goes through as they try to put a work together, as they try to put this project together. So first, when we meet, everything is okay, everything is fine, that's forming. And then we start knowing each other's conflicting areas, so that's the storming. And then finally, we understand that we'll have to, if we want to live together and do something, produce something together, then we'll have to work around our difficulties. Now we start performing. So that's why Chico and André Luiz, they had to stay together. If I'm not mistaken, Chico and André Luiz, they worked together for about 3 years before they start actually working on a book together. So it took them that long to know each other very well, to trust each other very well. So the idea was really for Chico and André Luiz to get to know themselves spiritually and get their energy, their frequency very well aligned for the sake of the success of the project, of their mission. Characters, there are several characters. Like I said, we are talking about real people. The names, they are whatever, but real people for sure. And the main character, the name of the books, they are like very strange to me, because those names, they are like from the beginning of 19th century. So old names that today we don't use anymore. So they sound weird, but that's how it was. The main character, Aniceto is his name. And like I said, the places mentioned in the book, they are talking about zones extremely close to Earth, where the spirits, they are, those zones, they are so close to Earth that the spirits, they live their life like us, incarnated people. They think they need nutrition, for example. So that's how close and low those zones are. Now, okay, so where is, okay, so why was Astral City chosen to be the second book of this series? Remember, there was a team of spirits, a group of spirits coordinating all of that. So evidently they had a plan, they had an idea in mind. So first Astral City, now the second one, the messengers. Well, first of all, the messengers is really the sequence of Astral City, and it calls attention to the fact that humanity at that time had evolved a lot in terms of the intellect, right? So we evolved a lot in terms of our intelligence, but that was it, meaning we did not we did not grasp the importance of enhance our reasoning, our understanding with moral values, with concepts like love, compassion, forgiveness, right? So remember that 1943, 1944, we were living the Second World War, and the result of our progress and intelligence, what we did with it, we created mortal weaponry. Instead of exercising forgiveness, instead of exercising love, instead of exercising our ability to accept one another, we were creating mortal weaponry. And here it is. I said that we were the book calls the book's cover or mention places like lower zone, and most of the time when it talks about the lower zone, when it talks about where exactly they are, I just want to show you guys this. This is a very simple graph. Don't take this literally, but in this graph we try to represent, where those dimensions are, and most of the time, whenever they are talking about the lower zone, they are probably talking about the umbral. The umbral is one of the very lower zones where the spirits, confused spirits, they are located. Leda, please.
This book, it shows the transformation of André Luiz as he was in Astro City. He starts working in the chambers of regeneration. So this first ministry here of regeneration, and it's a very heavy work, receiving the spirits from the umbral, the abyss, and everybody that was rescued from the lower zones. And now, as he starts his renewal process, he starts changing, and he went through a lot of personal challenges, and he's been overcoming those. Then he feels the need to change his activities to the communication ministry. And now he has the ability of doing that because he has lifted his mind. His mind he's more responsible now. He's not thinking just about himself. So he's allowed to come and go, because this ministry of communication requires the spirits to come to earth and go back and not be attached to earthly matters, So as he evolves, he can change his activities that were very restricted and very tough, to activities that are suit him better. And we'll talk about it later, but just as you showed all the ministries here, I thought it was nice to say that he renew as a spirit, reflects on his activities, his professional activities in Astro City.
Yeah, you mentioned a very good point, Leda, because that's exactly right. The first book, André Luiz is talking about Astro City, and he's really located in the Astro City, right? So he's protected in the boundaries of this city, and he's describing to us all these ministries and what the function and how they work together, how they correlate to one another. And now it seems like like I said, he has acquired, he has earned not only knowledge, but also in his mind, he's more clear about, okay, what exactly is my function? What can I do? How should I focus my work in the process of continuous improvement? And now he, in order for him to continue with this process, learning process, now he is assigned, if you will, to go through these other zones outside of the boundaries of the city, so he can learn more. An important thing here is, even though he was a doctor, he was a scientist as incarnated, but in this case, his mission was really to go to these places, learn about them, and later on translate to us what he saw from the perspective of a man of science. So in a way that he's behaving like a journalist, he's like playing a role as a journalist, but with this very strong knowledge and basis as a scientist. So so you see how the spirituality do the planning, as they work on books like this. Okay, any comment or question so far? No? Okay, so where? Yeah, there you go.
Hyacinth wanted to say something.
Oh,
didn't
Hyacinth,
she?
yeah, please.
It was just that you talked about the umbral. I wonder if you could use that as the shadowlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but it is, I mean, umbral, there is a zone between Earth and the moon that is called umbral, right? So it's not related to that. The umbral, the name itself is just to talk about shadows. It's hard to get light in a place where almost 100% of the people in there, their mind is confused, and they do not have their thoughts elevated or focused on higher frequencies. So that's why it's called umbral.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So and then remember, we also talked about this, about so many we mentioned last time when we were covering Astral City, that actually Astral City is not a single one. There are so many other places like Astral City, and there are books about astral cities in Brazil, and actually they try to map in regards to the geographic situation in Brazil. And but evidently, wherever you have a civilization with notions of spirituality, then up there somewhere in the spiritual realm, there will be an astral city taking care of that population and whatever needs they have. Okay. Okay, so this is a very quick introduction, is like in general describing what this book is about. This book reveals that physical death discloses the fact that the life of the spirits is in continual evolution. In 51 chapters, it tells of the experiences of a number of spirits who have reincarnated with pre-programmed work needed for their spiritual growth. Pay attention to this, because that's the basic idea about this book. So you will see all those characters, all these people, remember, real people, code names, but real people, and all of them, they had pre-programmed work needed for their spiritual growth. And then what happened to them once they reincarnated, once they were born here, and then they lived their life. It also addresses themes such as gospel at home worship, the importance of it, the benefits of practicing good, self-negligence is one of the main topics about it, and the fear of that. The spirit author focuses on the work opportunity for mediums, but evidently it's not only for mediums, for everybody else. It's very good lessons for anybody, warning them about their need to practice the teachings inwardly in order to avoid returning to the spirit world without having fulfilled their commitments. So that's why we have all these characters, all these stories. Most of them, they are sad stories. They are not happy ending still yet. There will be one day, but the main topic is what happened to us if we really don't keep ourselves focused, disciplined, and if we do not guide ourselves based on, the higher values, higher moral values. Okay, so do I have a volunteer to read the introduction from Emmanuel? This introduction is one of the best of in between all the 13 books. Do I have a volunteer?
I could read.
Oh, yay. Thank you,
Awesome.
Nora.
Thanks. All right. If a chimpanzee living in a palace were to find a way to write to his brothers and sisters of the same level of evolution, it would find almost no fundamental differences to report. It could tell them about a more improved animal life, and perhaps the only aspect that it could not describe would be the arrow of reason enveloping the human spirit. As for the ways of life per se, the differences would not be profoundly perceptible. Plain animal hair would find continuity in modern cashmeres and silks. The order of nature in the jungle home would be the same order that lends stability to the human home. The cave will have been transformed into a stone building. The green meadow may have likened to the cultivated garden. The means of continuing the species would be nearly the same.
Yeah, I see that it's just a comparison, but he will later on come to a conclusion about it. The same strong ties.
The same strong ties. Thus, the chimpanzee would only find it difficult to describe the problems of work, responsibility, and enriched memory, a purified sentiment, and spiritual growth. In short, all the problems resulting from the acquisition of reason. Consequently, there's no real justification for the amazement of those who read messages of the caliber of the ones that Andre Luiz addresses to individuals who are devoted to spiritual growth. Ordinary men and women long for something extraordinary to happen. They forget that nature is not concerned with satisfying their individual particular points of views. Physical death is not an unbalanced leap. It is merely one evolutionary step.
That's okay. So Leda, please, you have a comment?
That you have to remember that this is the second book after Astro City. So they are responding to the many criticisms that Astro City, the book, had when it was published. Because people, all the spiritualists and spiritists, they knew about the afterlife, they knew about the spirits, but they thought of cities in the astral world, houses, food, the bus, the a bus to take the public transportation in the astral city.
It was
they
like
thought,
shocking news, right?
yeah,
If we compare to the idea of clouds and
yeah.
the
I don't know what they thought that life in the afterlife would be like, but they didn't expect that. So
to be
they had,
so earthly, right?
yeah, they had a lot of trouble accepting it. So that's what they're saying, that it's step after step, step by step, right? It's
Mhm.
one step after the other. So the evolution, it doesn't have a leap. And we abandon the old habits slowly. It's hard for us to abandon the old habits and become further from the matter, because we are very, very material people.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Leda. Yeah, very, very good point. So, Nora, please.
Thank you. Like our chimp that discovered and ennobled animal life in the human environment, humans who merit entry into higher circles of the invisible after physical death discover a higher level of human life.
Yeah, that's very important to us, because even though, yes, it's a different step, is a higher step, but it's still very close to us, right? So like Leda was saying, we do not just jump from this state to become angels, right? It is, baby steps, and that's what it is. Now, the question that I have to the group is, what do you think, what the percentage of your genes do you share with the apes? Any guess?
Either 98.5, 99.9.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a teacher answer. Okay, so that's a spot.
We're like,
Exactly.
because even if you see on the tree too, we branched off, and
Yeah.
the bonobos, which actually come after the apes, they're actually even more related to the bonobos, because they're the ones that they don't even kill anymore. Like apes, they still have that tendency, but the bonobos are so loving, and they create like family circles. And I was even reading that even like the parents, they won't like mate with each other anymore. They already have that little bit of consciousness, a little bit higher, that is so close to us. It's incredible.
Aren't those who I think they grieve, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bonobos. And they
Mhm.
do have, like, I know they have some studies even on the apes, right, or the chimps, the chimpanzees. They
Mhm.
also have some form of grieving as well.
Good. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Nara. Hi, Seth, please. You're on mute.
What animal was that you talked about?
The bonobos.
Bonobos, yes.
What? I'd never heard of them.
Oh, you never heard of bonobos? It's
No.
like a monkey, like they're not as big as the apes, like the gorillas, right? But they are something between the chimpanzees and the gorillas.
Okay.
Bonobos, yeah. Very intelligent, extremely
Thanks,
intelligent.
Jazz. Mhm.
And by the way, the females are the ones that actually are the leaders.
Just say. No bias, guys. But anyway, so as Nada was saying, we share 98%, okay, of of our genetics with the chimps. Now, the question now is, since Emmanuel was talking about the chimps, he was comparing, us to the chimps. So what if another being shows up here with only 2% or 1.5% of its genetics more developed than us? Who's the ape now? Doesn't look much, 1%, 1.5%, but look at what the difference. So who's the ape now? So you see that little by little, baby steps, but yeah, it does. It sometimes it seems like so small step, but it is a lot of in terms of the evolution. It is a lot of changes in terms of evolution, right? So more than ever, guys, it is time for us to work on our weaknesses, improve our moral values, enlighten our understanding, our reason with compassion, forgiveness, love, faith, charity, etc., because it's not going to be too long before we start seeing beings that is probably just 1%, you know, more developed than us. So how are we going to cope with that? So we better hurry up in our self-improvement, right? Okay, so Nora, my official reader. So that's the conclusion of Emmanuel's introduction about this book.
Okay. Thus, happy at having finished our duty, dear reader, we present you with these new pages by Andre Luiz. They consist of a partial report of 1 week of spirit work by messengers of the good as they work alongside incarnate humans. Above all, they portray the character of a conscientious emissary and generous benefactor in the person of Aniceto, and they stress the need for moral discipline for those who consecrate themselves to the noble activities of the faith in the arena of services. My friend, if you are seeking the spiritual light, if animal-like existence has worried your heart, remember that in spiritualism, investigation always leads to the infinite in the realm of the infinitesimal as well as the sphere of the distant stars. And only the transformation of yourself in the light of higher spirituality will enable you to draw from the source of the divine life. And above all, remember that these uplifting messages from the beyond are not meant to be a mere expression of emotion. Above all, they're intended for your understanding as a child of God, so that you will take inventory of your own accomplishments and truly hand yourself over to the responsibility of living in the presence of the Lord. Beautiful.
That's powerful, isn't it? That's powerful. I do not know if you guys noticed, but at the beginning he said they consist of the book, these pages, they consist of a partial report of 1 week. So it took Andre Luiz and the team and everybody else 1 week in their investigations, and but to put the book together 2.5 months, because guess who? There was an incarnated in the way in the middle, and it was Chico, and he was extremely good in what he was doing, but still, so it's not so easy for the spirituality to convey those messages to us, right? But I think they did an awesome job in this case over here. Any comments so far? Any question? Nope. Shall we continue? So, okay, so we selected some of the chapters to cover, and we will not be covering all the 51 chapters, but there are some of them, you know, they have some nice topics for us to discuss. So the first one is renew, and Leda would like to talk about this. So Leda, would you like to go ahead and read it? Okay.
Yeah, I can read. That's I don't know, the first picture that you put, it's from the new movie, right? Is it the husband, the husband, the actual the husband of André Luiz's the second husband of André Luiz's wife in the bed, they are putting their hands over healing on a man, right?
Ah, okay, so here. No, I don't think that is Fernando's. You're talking about this, this, right?
Yeah. Because the book starts with him, André Luiz. André Luiz is the one with the mustache, right?
Yeah, this
So,
is André Luiz, this is Aniceto.
yeah, so this probably is not the second husband, but he starts the book saying that he had been through this journey of going home and finding his wife remarried and finding his children. Some remembered him, some didn't even think about him. And that was very disappointing to him. But he had understood that he was not the center of the universe. He has understood how to help people and how to not put himself first, and to understand the laws of the universe. And he had understood the law of cause and effect, and he had understood, he had seen so many people come to Astro City with the consequences of their actions, and having to change their minds and having to understand their challenges.
And
So
Leda, in this case, I guess it's important to mention, André Luiz spent like 8 years in the umbral,
the lower
in
zone,
the lower zones, and then he spent another how many years before he was ready?
1 year, until he was cleared to go home and visit his wife.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
So and that, but that sometimes we may think that it was just one visit, but after he got the clearance, and then he could come and go, as I was saying before. And then he started to help his family anonymously. And he started to go many times to his home and help. And with the time, he understood that his wife was fully identified with her second husband, wasn't thinking about him anymore. And
Yeah, because 9 years has passed.
yeah, and his children had
that.
their concerns as well. They had their problems and their lives. And then he started to understand that he had to move on with his own interests. And that's, like I was saying before, that's the a process of his self-renewal, as he was absorbing the reality of the earth, because he had these illusions, these castles of what he would find, and he started to accept that what he found was not what he expected, and he had to deal with that, right?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I remember even between among the spiritists, I remember hearing from a friend of mine, and she's not the first wife of her husband, so for him is his second marriage. And then one day she was talking to me and saying, it's going to be very confused once we transition to the other side, and then who's going to be the wife? I don't want to see another first wife around. So it is that hard to get someone, right?
So let's see in his words, right? Having broken from the inferior ties that had bound me to earthly concerns, I now felt a higher level of understanding now gladdening my spirit. Such liberation had not happened all at once, however. So it took him some time, right? I was living the joy of self-discovery. Until now, I had been living like a mollusk, tucked away in its shell, oblivious to the lofty splendors of nature as it crawls around in the mud. I was convinced that my grief has stilled my mental processes like a heavy hull, whose thirst I had not understood right away. That hull had broken through the shell of my former corrupted sentiments and had set me free. For the first time, I regarded my adversaries as benefactors. After having been compelled to destroy my castles of an unwarranted exclusivity, I felt a different kind of love settling into my soul. So sometimes it has a lot to do with our struggles as well, right? Because we get to a point where we feel lighter, we feel more understanding, we see the spiritual world with the real eyes, and we give value to what we are learning. But it's also a process of leaving behind the illusions, leaving behind our expectations, right? So it's a bittersweet feeling, because it's in one hand you feel glad and you feel lighter and you feel wiser, but in the other hand you had to let so many things go, right?
Yeah, and what he describes over here is also a very nice message. It's telling us that, yeah, okay, so we transition to the other side, but hey, the learning process, the evolution continues. So even though you might not, you may miss some of the the goals or missions you had to accomplish, but it's still time for you to start new, to start fresh, and learn more and continue that learning process, because his transformation really happened at that time, right? So the real inner transformation. So he learned quite a lot once he transitioned from as this important scientist, and then he found himself in the spiritual realm. So it was a very profound transformation. It means that I hope we all have the same type of process, right? So we continue that improvement, just moving on.
We are having the opportunity right now to start earlier than he did. Right? We're starting here on Earth, so it should be easier for us.
Yeah, for us. Maria, you have a comment?
Yes. With regard to being a messenger about us, it is necessary to understand that all those who work both as a dialoguer, energy donors for the work, and as medium can be one of them. Inclusive when we are on a speaker, expositor espírita, how I can say it in English?
Okay,
a lecturer, someone who gives
speaker.
I think that when you are one of these, you are one messenger. It's very important to have the notion of the senseless effort that the greater spirituality has to prepare them to act in a successful way.
Yeah.
And the great risks of all of us to failing to reincarnate because we put our personal and selfish interests
Mhm.
above our spiritual missions.
Yeah.
Thousands of mediums and workers and dialoguers leave every year from the communication centers of spiritual cities,
Mhm. Mhm.
but very few manage or fulfill their
Their
reincarnation,
mission. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's what you mentioned is a very important point, is a very interesting point as well, because here we are talking about the mediums, but anyone actually working in that environment, kind of anyone working to disseminate this idea is a messenger. You don't have to be a medium, but hey, if you are, talking on behalf of all those, all that knowledge, if you were talking on behalf of the spirit teachings, you are a messenger.
If you
And
stay meeting, giving our vibration to the world,
exactly, you are yeah,
messenger.
yes, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, you're exactly right. So whenever we reincarnate and then we get distracted, it's so easy to get distracted with our day-by-day life, with our work and everything that we have to do. We got swept with bills and commitments, and it's so easy to forget about the need to improve our spirituality, right? So there is a time and there is room for everything, but it's our duty, I guess, to make room for self-improvement, for spirituality improvement, and so forth. Thank you, Maria. Very nice. Leda, should I?
Yeah, you can go on.
Okay.
So in this process that he's living, he's telling about this, spiritual uplifting conversation had become indispensable. I used to enjoy torturing my soul with memories of the earth. I used to enjoy the dramatic stories of various fellow spirits struggling down there. I recalled my own struggle and was infatuated with the prospect of clinging once again to my family. But now he did so, right? I had completely lost my passion for such unworthy matters. And then Narcissa said to him one day, Narcissa is his colleague in the Chambers of Regeneration, his boss, actually. So, André, my friend, you have been undergoing mental renewal. During such times, extreme troubles of a spiritual nature assault our hearts. Remember to meditate on the gospel of Jesus. I know that you have been experiencing inexpressible joy in your contact with universal harmony after having abandoned your pointless desires. But I also know that along with the roses of joy lining the new pathways of hope that have opened up before you, thorns of weariness line the edges of the old roads that you're leaving behind. Your heart is a callus illuminated by the rays of the divine dawn, but it's empty with the worldly sentiments that filled it for many years. So this image of the callus, is it callus that you pronounce it? Is
Yeah.
it correct?
Yeah.
This image of this callus, of this glass, right? That is empty. It's very very interesting because to clean the glass, you have to take away and throw away all the bad feelings, the bad thoughts, the illusions, all the things that are no longer useful for the spirit. But you can't leave it empty. You have to put something there. So otherwise you won't feel complete. You won't feel fed, you know, you won't be fulfilled. So she's saying you have to meditate and put new values into your heart. That's what
Yeah,
she's
it's
saying.
like creating room, right, for other purposes, for higher
Yeah,
purposes in your
but
life.
not only creating room, but putting the new purposes in your heart, in your thoughts. And that's why in the end of this chapter, he decided to take this course in the Ministry of Communications, to see new things and to learn new things, to put his mind in different thoughts, in different ideas, in different values, to have that in his heart. Because you know, we can't be living unfulfilled. We can't be living just in memories of the past. We have to build new ideas and exercise these new ideas. And that's why in the spiritual realms, they have so many opportunities of studying, of conversation. Like he said that he needed the uplifting conversation. So they have to exchange experiences, and so they will build the new man that he's starting to become.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, and as you were talking about it, so I was thinking about this. I do not know if you guys can see very well, but oh, where is my mouse here? So, but in this is a picture from Astro City movie, and in this scene here, André Luiz, remember he was in this communication ministry, and he really wanted to send a message. He really wanted to contact his family, but he was not ready. So he was asking questions how to get it done and how to convey the message, how to contact them and such. And evidently he couldn't, because at that point he didn't have nor the knowledge nor the merit to do it yet. And but as he learned more and more, now he is coming back to this communication ministry. He is coming back to this messenger center, no longer out of curiosity, out of his own interest, but because he wants to learn more. So he's not, now he's back to the messenger center, not moved by his self-interest, but moved by something even larger, bigger than his own interest, right? So is 107 here. I'm not gonna cover this right now, so next Saturday we'll come back and we'll start from here. But I just wanted to mention that to reinforce the message about the communication ministry, what they do, and that they coordinate this messenger center over there, and it is from there that they kind of educate the new mediums. They provide the new mediums with all the tools, all the knowledge that they will need So once they reincarnate, then they do their job right. So they know by intuition, if you will, what they have to do. That in the messenger center also is where the mediums, they become familiar with their mentors, and so they stay together for a while. They learn a lot about each other. They learn how to interact about as they go. So they put this plan together, and they kind of build up this plan before the meeting, before him or he or she comes back to Earth. And so this is just one of the department in the communication ministry. Okay, so it's almost 1:10 over here in Houston, guys. It has been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If by any chance you guys call in tomorrow in Wendy's meeting, I will be there too. Okay. Thank you, guys.
We see you then. Thank you. Right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Anna.
Thank you,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Where is this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
Is Wendy Zamet meeting? If you want to participate, I can send you the link to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I will. I will
Okay.
do it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Yes.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.